Okay, everyone, settle in for me, please. Find your balance. Stacking your shoulders over your hips. Please bring your head into a neutral position and close down your eyes. Take a moment to connect to your breath. And then join your hands for me, please, in front of the heart center. Let's begin by chanting the Om together 3 times, followed by the invocation to Patanjali. Yogena chitasya padena vacham malam sharirasya chavajakena yopa pravaram munina Patanjalim pranjaliranotoshmi Abahu Purushakaram Shankachakra Siddharinam Sahasra Shirasam Shvetam Pranamami Patanjalim Hari Om. Take another breath in. As you exhale, draw your head down towards your hands. And with your next inhalation, bring your head back up. Open your eyes and let your hands come back to rest on your legs. All right, friends, please come on to the hands and the knees. Tucking the toes under, inhale your breath, exhale, press your hips back towards your heels. Let your head go down between your arms. And if you can, reach forward through the arms and fingers, letting your head come all the way to the floor, a blanket, or a block. Keep exaggerating the stretch in the spine, pressing the hips back towards the heels. Take a few deep breaths here. Good, and then make your way back up onto all fours. Bring your hands back under your shoulders. And let's come to hunting dog pose. Bring the right leg up and the left arm forward. Good, please bring your hand and your knee back to the mat. Let's do the other side. Left leg comes up, right arm reaches forward. Good. Bring your hand and your knee back to the mat. Once again, tuck your toes under, inhale your breath. Exhale as you press your hips back towards your heels. Now focus on stretching those toes, so you don't have to let your head come all the way down unless that feels good to you. But work on pressing the hips back and stretching the toes, the necks of the toes. Good, and then come back up. We're going to walk your hands forward a little, keeping the toes tucked under. And now we're going to bring the shoulders forward, let your knees your hips come forward and down, but not all the way to the mat. Bring your hips back, come back to child's pose with your toes still tucked under. Good, and then inhale to come back up, same thing, lowering the hips towards the floor, but not down. Good, exhale, come back to child's pose with the toes tucked under. One more time, inhaling up. Exhale the hips forward. Inhale back. And exhale your hips back towards your heels. Good, coming back up onto all fours. Bring your hands back under your shoulders. Bring your right leg up again, swing it around to the left, tucking your toes into the floor. Twist to look over your left shoulder. Good, and then bring that leg back. Let's do the other side. Left leg comes up and around. Pressing those toes into the floor, twisting to look over your right shoulder. Good, and then bring that leg back. We're going to lower it all the way down onto the stomach. Bend your right knee, reach back and catch hold of the right ankle or foot, and gently draw the foot towards the buttocks. Release the right foot, bend the left knee, same thing on this side, bring the foot in, catch hold of the foot or the ankle, and then draw the foot in towards the left buttock. Good, release the left foot, and then bring both feet up, catching hold of both feet or both ankles. Inhale your breath, exhale as you draw the feet closer to the buttocks. Good, and then release. Let your feet come back to the mat, bring your hands up underneath your shoulders, and then bring your feet in close enough so that they're not more than hip distance apart. Strengthen the legs and lift the chest and hands away from the mat. Good, lower down and turn your head to one side. Bring your head back to center. Let's do that again. Inhaling to lift up, chest and hands. Keep your feet down, but make your legs strong here. Good, lower down, turning your head the other way. Good, bring your head back to center. Bring your legs back again so that they're in line with the hips. Bring your hands back further so that the heels of the hands are more in line with the lowest ribs. Inhale your breath as you start to come up. Exhale to come just a little bit higher. You're using your arms here, the legs are still strong. And then exhale to come all the way back down, chest, chin, nose, forehead. And then turn your head the other way. Good, bring your head back to center. Once again, please make sure your legs are not wider than your hips as you inhale. Lift up. As you exhale, press into your hands. Take a breath in here. And then exhale, belly button, ribs, chest, chin, nose, and forehead. And then turn your head the other way. Bring your head back to center. Press up onto your knees. And come back to child's pose with or without your toes tucked under. Good, and then come back up onto all fours. Inhale your breath and exhale to downward facing dog pose. While you're in your dog pose, let's see if you can shift your hips a little bit from side to side. Keep your breathing steady. Just waking everything up on this crazy, wet, cloudy January morning. And then inhale to bring your feet into your hands. Exhaling as you fold over your legs. We're going to be in Uttanasana for a few breaths. Please feel free to bend your knees a little bit here. Good, and then everybody please bend your knees deeply as you inhale and look forward. Exhale to straighten the legs, tipping the top of your head towards the floor. Inhale to bend and look forward. Exhale to straighten. One more time, inhale. And exhale. Be in Uttanasana. Good, and then bring your hands to your shins, long, flat back, look forward, and then bring your hands to your hips and come to stand in mountain pose for me, please. Spread your toes, pressing down into the four corners of the feet to lift up through the legs, in your shoulder blades, onto your back. And then inhale to reach up toward the ceiling, look up at your hands. Exhale to press your arms back down to your sides and bring your head back to center. Inhale to reach up and look up. Exhale to press back down. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. Coming back to mountain pose. And then bring your arms out to the sides, up to shoulder level only as you inhale. Take a breath or two here. And at the top of your next inhalation, twist to your right as you exhale. Try to keep both arms level with the shoulders. And then inhale to come back to center. Exhaling around to your left now. Again, inhale center. Exhale to the right. Inhale, center. And exhale to your left. Inhale back to the center. And exhale as you let your arms float back down to your sides. Coming back to mountain pose for me, please. And then inhale to reach up toward the ceiling. Exhaling as you swan dive into forward bend. Inhale to look forward. Exhale, walk, hop, or jump your feet back to plank pose and lower down. Inhaling the chest through and up. Exhale to downward facing dog pose. And then inhale to bring your feet back into your hands. Exhaling as you fold over your legs. Inhale the arms out and up. Exhale your hands together and to your heart center. Let's do that again. Inhale to reach up. Exhale, swan dive into forward bend. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, bend your knees. Take it back and lower down. Inhaling the chest through and up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale to bring your feet back into your hands. Exhaling as you fold over your legs. Inhale the arms out and up. Exhale your hands together and back to your heart center. One more time. Inhale to reach up. Exhale to swan dive into forward bend. Inhaling to look forward. Exhale. Take it back and lower down. Inhale the chest through and up. Exhale to downward facing dog. So from here, we're going to inhale that right leg way up into the air. Bend the knee. Shift the shoulders forward and bring your knee across to hover behind your left elbow. And then inhale to come back up. And exhale, bend your knee again. Now bring it across to hover behind your left wrist. Inhale to come up. And exhale that foot back to the mat. Inhale the left leg up into the air. Bend the knee, bring it across to the right elbow. Inhale up. And exhale to the right wrist. Inhale up. And exhale that foot back to the mat. Long, deep inhalations here. Long, slow exhalations. And then inhale to bring your feet back into your hands. Exhale as you fold over your legs. Inhale the arms out and up. Exhale your hands together. And back to your heart center. Coming back to mountain pose. Warrior number 2 for me. Please step your feet wide apart. Turning that right leg out. Lifting up as you inhale. Bending the right knee as you exhale. Good, friends, let's come to reverse warrior here. either placing the left hand on the back of the left leg or bring it around behind your back. And then inhale, the right arm up, maybe arching back. Good, come back to warrior two. And then straighten the right leg. Let your arms float down and turn the right leg forward. Let's go to the other side. Revolving now the left leg out. Inhale to lift up. Exhale to bend the knee. Try to make sure you've got your knee aligned with the ankle. Good, and reverse warrior on this side. Right hand comes to the back of the right leg or around behind your back. Inhaling to reach up, maybe exhaling and arching back a little. Good, coming back to warrior two. And then straighten that left leg. Let your arms float down. Turn the left leg forward. Prasarita Padottanasana for me, please. Inhaling to lift up. Exhale as you fold over your legs. Bring your hands to the floor, your blocks, a chair, a piece of furniture, whatever works for you. Focusing on the legs and the spine. Lifting up through the sit bones. Stay connected to your breath. Good, and then come part way up. And please walk your hands to the outside of your right foot or as close to your right foot as you can get. Walk them back to center and then over to your left foot. Good, and back to center. Bring your feet in a little and use the strength of your legs, please, to come all the way up. Bring your feet all the way back in. Meet me back in mountain pose. Inhale to reach up toward the ceiling. Exhaling to Utkatasana. Bend your knees. Well done. Up you come. Bring your arms back to your sides. And come back to Tadasana for me, please. Let's do that again, this time with the twist. Inhale to reach up. Exhale, bend your knees. Join your hands and take your left elbow to the outside of your right knee. Inhale back to the center. Exhaling to your left. Inhale back to the center and exhaling to Uttanasana. Once again, please. Folding over the legs. Inhale to look forward. Exhale, bend your knees and step back to plank pose. Lower down. Inhale the chest through and up. Exhale. Downward facing dog. And then bring your knees to the mat. Separate your knees to the outer edges of your mat. Bring your big toes together and press your hips back towards your heels, coming into child's pose. Inhaling as you come back up onto all fours. Bring your knees back underneath your hips. Meet me back in downward facing dog, and then inhale as you bring your feet into your hands. Exhaling as you fold over the legs. Inhale the arms out and up. Exhale your hands together and back to your heart center. Be in Tadasana, please. From here, we're going to move into warrior number one. So please separate your feet to be hip distance apart. Just like we do when we move into Parshvottanasana, you're going to bend the knees and step straight back with the left foot. Keep the right knee bent and reach up towards the ceiling. As you inhale, bring your arms down and step forward back to Tadasana. Exhale into mountain pose. Let's do that on the other side. Bending the knees, stepping straight back with the right foot. Keep the left knee bent and reach up toward the ceiling. Warrior one on the left side. Good, as you inhale, see if you can bring your arms down and step forward all at the same time. And come back to mountain pose. Standing well on the right foot, we're going to bring the left foot up behind, catch hold of the foot or the ankle. If you get a hamstring cramp, let go, work it out, and come back to the pose. Try not to take the left foot too far out to the side when you reach back for it. Try to get the knees in line with each other. And for the moment, just stand like this. Good. Fall down like me. Interesting. And then place the left foot back down on the mat. Come back to mountain pose. And let's see what we can do on the other side. Standing on the left leg, bring the right foot up. See if you can catch hold of the foot and bring it in. And then release and stand on both feet. Triangle pose to the right for me, please. Step your feet wide apart. Have your prop ready on the right side of your foot. Rotate the right leg out. Inhale to lift up. Exhale as you come to the side. Bringing your hand onto your prop. Please don't be shy about using props. Keep your block close to the ankle. Anchor into that back leg. Roll the chest open. And reach up through the left arm if you haven't done that already. Inhale to come up. Exhale your arms down and rotate that left leg, that right leg forward. Let's go to the other side. Bring your prop around. Rolling that left leg out. Inhale to lift up. Exhale as you come to the side. Well done. Up you come. Letting the arms down. Roll that left leg forward and bring your feet back in. Come on back to mountain pose. And then inhale to reach up toward the ceiling. Exhale, swan dive into forward bend. Inhale, look forward, exhale, bend your knees, take it back and lower down. Inhaling the chest, through and up. Exhale, back to downward facing dog pose. Inhale to bring your feet back into your hands. Exhale as you fold over your legs. Inhale the arms out and up. Exhale your hands back to your heart center. Coming back to mountain pose, please. Good, and extended side angle pose to the right. Stepping your feet, please, wide apart. You can use a prop on the outside of your right foot, or you can use your leg, or if you need to come up even higher and use a chair, that's fine. Rolling the right leg out. Inhale to lift up. Exhale as you bend the right knee, bringing your hand to your prop on the outside of your right foot. Keep your prop near your ankle. So if you're doing this, your right knee needs to be bent enough so that you can press the knee into the arm. If you're somewhere here because you can't bend your knee, then you need to come up. Please don't bring your hand all the way down. It's too much stress on the hip flexors. Anchor into that left heel and pull the left arm over the left ear. Maybe look up towards your inner elbow or your hand. Keep rolling the chest open any amount that you can. Keep moving the right knee towards the right arm. And then inhale to pull the left arm back. Exhale to press into the right foot and come up. Good. Standing with the legs wide apart. Bring your prop over to the other side if you're using a prop. Or have it in your left hand. Roll that left leg out for me, please. Lifting up as you inhale. Bend the knee as you exhale. And then bring your hand down, either to the prop or bring your elbow to your knee. Anchor into that right heel. Inhale your breath as you pull the arm over the ear. Maybe look up towards the inner elbow or your hand if you can. Stay connected to your breath. Inhale to pull the right arm back. Exhale to press into the left foot and let your arms down. Rolling that left leg forward. Prasarita once again, please inhale to lift up. Exhale as you fold over the legs. Bring your hands to the floor or your blocks. Good. Coming part way up for me, please. Bring your feet in a little and then come the rest of the way up and meet me back in mountain pose. Be in Tadasana. And then inhale to reach up toward the ceiling. Exhale, swan dive into forward bend. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, bend your knees. Take it back and lower down. Inhale the chest through and up. Exhale to child's pose. Then coming back up onto all fours, we're going to lower down onto the stomach and bring the right arm forward. Come up onto your right forearm. Try to have your right elbow in line with your right shoulder or a little bit in front of it, but not back behind it and not too far out to the side and not too far in. Line it up as well as you can. So now organize your legs to be no more than hip distance apart. Bend your left knee. Reach back and catch hold of your left foot with your left hand if you can. You can use a strap here too. So now there's a tendency as soon as you catch hold of the foot to drop the chest. Press into that right arm to lift your chest. And then start to draw the left foot in closer to the left buttock. And then release a little. And then draw it back in. And release a little. And draw it back in. One more time, release. And now bring it in as close as you can. And breathe. And then release. Let that foot down and switch arms. Left arm comes across the chest, same thing. Elbow stays in line with the shoulder. Go ahead and bend the right knee. Reach back and catch hold of the right foot or ankle. Don't let your chest drop. And then when you're ready, draw that right foot in closer. And release. And again, draw it in. And release. One more time, drawing the foot in now as close as you can. And then release the foot. Bring your right arm forward. Make a little shelf for your hands and let your forehead rest on your hands. And with your forehead still on your hands, organize your legs to be in line with the hips. Point your toes. Inhale your breath, and on the exhale, we're going to lift the legs away from the mat. Keep your forehead down, keep your elbows down. And then release. And again, lifting just the legs. Good, and release. And one more time, lifting just the legs away from the mat. Try not to bend your knees too much. Good, and then release. Bring your hands back under your shoulders, press back up onto your knees, and get what you need for Virasana, seated warrior pose. Most of us need some sort of prop, either under the knees or the ankles or under the seat. So a block works very nicely. 2 blocks works well too, a bolster, some sort of pillow off your sofa or something. If you're able to sit down on the floor in between your feet, then that's great. You do that. Otherwise, sit up on something. You can put a block in between your feet. You can put 2 blocks in between your feet if this is really hard on your knees. So you can see I'm up quite high, and that's fine. If your knees are not happy with this pose, we don't want to annoy the knees any more than necessary. I'm sure you're all very bored with the story about my first teacher who wanted to get this pose, but had trouble because of lots of things, and decided that he was going to sit on a New York City phone book every day. And every day he did that, and every day he tore out a page until he was sitting on the floor. He was very excited. But we're here in Virasana. If you're okay, but there's some tightness in your knees that you'd like to alleviate, one way you can do that is by just gently lifting one of the knees away from the mat. Just give it a little shake and then let it come back down. That sometimes helps. Sometimes those of us, or those of you, I should say, not me, have very well-developed calf muscles and they can get in the way. So if that's the case, everything else is okay, you can come forward, stick your fingers in behind the knees. So you're not rolling your calf muscles out, you're pulling them straight back, and then sit back down with your fingers still in there and then let your fingers come out. See if that helps, if it's the calf muscles. If it's your ankles, you should have some support, a rolled up blanket or towel under your ankles. I think you can tell because I'm still talking, we're going to be here for another breath or two. So it's important to make sure that you're able to do the pose as well as you can and with as much support as you need. It's just like anything else. You take the support while you need it, and then one day you don't need it anymore. Or not. Maybe you need it your whole life. It just means you're a dedicated yogi. One more breath here if you can. And then come onto your hands. And we're going to take the left leg back and straighten it out, pressing the left heel towards the short end of the mat to open up the back of that knee and to flex the ankle. And then bring that knee back, stretching out through the right leg now, pressing the toes into the mat and push the heel back towards the short end of the mat to flex that ankle. And then bring that knee back. We're going to move into pigeon pose next, so get whatever props you need for pigeon pose. If you prefer to do pigeon pose, reclining pigeon on your back, that's fine too. Whatever's going to work best for you this morning. Coming to downward facing dog, if you're coming into the pose the way I am, bring your right leg way up into the air, bend the knee and bring it forward. Walking the left leg back until your right hip settles onto its prop. Once your hip is settled, straighten out your left foot as well as you can. And then walk your hands back as far as you're able. So your left leg is pretty active here. It's not passive. It's not just laying there. You want the toes to be pointing back towards the short end of the mat. You want your leg to be active because an active left leg is going to help your lower back in this pose. Because I know you all someday want to be able to bend your left knee, reach back over your head and catch hold of your left foot. Right? Yeah, I'm sure you do. And if you don't, that's okay too. But if you're almost there, or if your shoulders will allow, see if you can bend your left knee and reach straight back and catch hold of the left foot with both hands. And then lift up. And then whatever you're doing, please come to fold now over that right knee. And then come partway up. Come back to downward facing dog. And let's do that on the other side. Bring your prop over. Bring your left leg way up into the air, bend the knee and bring it forward. Sitting back on the left hip. Straightening out the right foot. Walking the hands back and lifting up. And if you want to try to bend the right foot, reaching back to catch hold of the foot with both hands and lifting up. And when you're ready, begin to fold forward over that left knee. And coming partway up. Meet me back in downward facing dog pose. Good, and then bring your knees down. And bring your legs forward for Dandasana. Be in staff pose for me. Reaching out through the heels, draw back through the flesh of the buttocks. And release. So we're going to take, all of us are going to take this spinal twist now with the bottom leg folded under. So if your hip lifts away from the floor, when you do that, you're going to need something to sit on. It might be just a small blanket. It might be something as big as a block. So to get into the pose with a block, it looks like this. We bend one knee. We take the foot across. We lean over and pull the bottom leg back. And then you should be sitting on both sit bones. You can use a bolster or a pillow off your sofa if you need this height. The idea is to have both sit bones connected to whatever surface you're sitting on. And then anchor the right knee with the hand, the left hand, the inner elbow, or you can take your elbow to the outside of your knee as long as your chest stays lifted and open. And then twist around to your right. Good, so now coming back to center, we're gonna keep that right foot where it is. Well, we're gonna keep the leg over. And we're gonna draw the right foot back and attempt to stack the knees one on top of the other. Place your left hand on top of your right knee. Place your right hand on top of your left hand. Don't push the knee down, just allow the weight of your hands. Try to release against the weight, away from the weight rather of your hands. You're not pushing down, you're just sitting. Good, and so now if your knees and your hips are pretty comfortable here, see if you can fold over the legs, over the knees. Good, and then make your way back up. Unravel the legs. And let's do that on the other side. So the right leg stays extended. We bring the left foot across. We fold the right leg under. Sitting up tall, twisting now to your left. And then make your way back to center. Drawing now that left foot back, attempting to stack the knees up. Place your right hand on your left knee and your left hand on top of your right hand and sit up tall. And again, if you have room now in your hips and your knees to fold over the knees, go ahead and do that. And then make your way back up. Unravel the legs. And come back to Dandasana. Staff pose, please. Reaching out through the heels. Draw the flesh of the buttocks straight back. And then inhale to reach up toward the ceiling. Exhale as you fold over the legs, bringing your hands to your knees, your shins, or your feet. We're using a strap here. Good, and slowly, slowly coming back up. Bend your knees for me, please, and bring your hands back behind you. Inhale your breath, and as you exhale, press down into the hands and the feet and lift your hips. Maybe let your head go back. And then slowly lower down, bring your butt down first, then bring your chest forward, and then your head comes last. Wrap your arms around your knees and hold on to your hands below your wrist. Letting your knees drop into your elbows. Good, and then switch hands. Good, and release. Bring your hands back once again, please, changing the direction your fingers are pointing. Inhale your breath. Exhale, press into the feet, lifting the hips. Maybe let your head go back. And then lower down, buttocks first. Then the chest comes forward and your head comes last. Again, wrapping the arms and grasping hold of the hand below the wrist, letting your knees drop into your elbows. And then switching hands. Good, and release, coming to Baddha Konasana now, joining the soles of the feet together. So you can also sit up on a block or a blanket or something if you would like to for this pose. Pressing the feet into one another to lift and open the chest. Maybe folding forward over the legs if there's room in your hips. Good, and release. Bring your knees back in. So you can use a strap or two for this next pose. We're going to keep the knees bent. And we're going to either strap the feet or catch hold of the big toes. We're going to rock back onto the seat and take one leg up at a time. You can also hang on to your yoga pants if you don't have a strap and you can't reach your big toes yet. Keep your chest lifted, stay connected to your breath. So we're trying to create some right angles here because right angles don't roll. So if your lower back is rounded or your upper back is too rounded, you're probably going to fall backwards or roll over. Not that there's anything wrong with that, that's kind of fun, but we're trying to maintain this position. And then see if you can take your legs wide apart without falling over. See what happens. Good, and then bring them back together. If you're holding your toes, release the toes, but keep your legs up, and then let your legs float down and come and lie on your back. So be in constructive resting pose, knees bent, feet flat on the floor. And then bring your arms out to your sides so that they're shoulder level. And then bring your feet in just a little bit closer. And we're going to press down into the feet and lift the hips just a little bit away from the floor, just enough to clear the floor. And then swing your hips over to your right and let them come back down on the outside of the left hip. And then bring both knees in towards the chest and roll to your left. Good, bring your right knee up and let your left knee follow. Place both feet back down on the mat. Your hips should be all wonky. Bring them back to center. Bring your feet in a little bit closer to your hips. And we're going to do that on the other side. So press down into the feet, just enough to clear the floor, and swing your hips over to your left. Bring them back down so that you're on the outside of your right hip. Draw your knees into your chest and roll to your right. Good, bring your left knee up, let your right knee follow. Bring both feet back to the mat and straighten out your hips. So if you need to put socks on or a sweatshirt on or anything right now, is the time to do it. We're going to be moving into Shavasana. Of course, if you're on a tropical island, you probably don't need that. We're not jealous, Kathleen. So once you've got your tootsies covered and anything else that you need to, maybe you'd like to draw your knees into your chest or come to happy baby, rocking a little from side to side. And when you're satisfied with that, bring yourself fully into Shavasana. Soften your jaw. Release your tongue. Let that space between the eyebrows grow wider and smoother. Let the floor accept the full weight of your body. And now slowly begin to deepen the breath. Gently bringing movement back to the fingers and the toes. Bend your knees. And roll all the way over onto one side. When you feel ready, make your way back up to sitting. Shivamastu Sarva Jagataha Parahita Nirataha Bhavantu Bhutagana Doshaha Prayantu Nasham Sarvatra Sukhi Bhavatu Lokaha. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you.
You are all very, very welcome. Let me just do this one little housekeeping thing.